Today, protesters rallied outside the Supreme Court as it steps back in to the fight over abortion rights in the United States. Just yesterday, the Supreme Court said it will take a look at a lower court's ruling. For now, this temporarily keeps the abortion pill mifepristone available. Justice Samuel Alito says federal rules on the drug will allow the pill to keep its FDA approval for the next 5 days, while the Supreme Court justices take time to more fully consider the issues raised in a court challenge. But all this legal back and forth can be confusing, so here's a breakdown of where the fight stands now and what comes next. Less than a year after the Dobbs decision reversed Roe v. Wade, more than a dozen states have banned or restricted abortions. In those states, abortions have decreased by 95%. And now, a ruling by a U.S. District Court judge in Texas could take this issue right back to the Supreme Court. The judge in Texas made a ruling to take abortion pill mifepristone off the market. He ruled the FDA violated federal rules by approving mifepristone, saying the FDA's initial approval of the drug was flawed because the agency did not adequately review safety risks.
The safety profile on this drug is good, if not better, than when it was originally reviewed, because now it's been out in the marketplace. It's been used on some 5 million patients, and so it has been extraordinarily well studied.
For context, the drug has been approved for the past 23 years, and in 2020, it was used in more than half of abortions. That's according to the Guttmacher Institute. For now, an appeals court stopped the drug from being taken off the market. In the meantime, the Department of Justice and President Biden asked the Supreme Court to step in. Justices are expected to announce their decision to either keep the ruling on hold or to let it take effect by Wednesday.
I think it's outrageous what the court has done relative to concluding that they're going to overrule the FDA whether it's done decision. I think it's out of their main, but we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Adding to the uncertainty, a separate federal judge in Washington said Thursday the FDA cannot block mifepristone's availability in 17 Democrat-led states suing to keep it on the market. New York state lawmakers say they will now stockpile the drug. So what does this mean for women? If the Supreme Court does not choose to act after Wednesday, doctors will be instructed to only prescribe mifepristone up to 7 weeks of pregnancy, even though the FDA currently says the drug is approved for use up to 10 weeks. And women would be required to attend 3 in-person office visits to receive a medication abortion. And as Americans wait to hear from the Supreme Court, more states are working to pass legislation to limit abortions.
You guys can start cheering, right?
This week, Florida passed a new, more restrictive 6-week abortion ban. Governor Ron DeSantis signed it within hours. It's called the Heartbeat Protection Act, and it bans abortions after 6 weeks, with an exception to save the life of the pregnant woman. However, that exception requires written authorization from 2 different doctors. There's also exceptions for rape, incest, and human trafficking. In those cases, abortions are allowed up to 15 weeks. The other exception, for a fatal fetal abnormality. That allows abortions anytime in the first or second trimester. But this 6-week ban is on hold, even though it's been signed into law, until the state Supreme Court decides whether or not to uphold a 15-week abortion ban. If that ban is deemed unconstitutional, the 6-week ban is out as well. In this complicated legal battle, doctors urge women to speak up if they need help and to not be scared into silence by the legal back and forth.
Patients and providers shouldn't be panicking day to day, trying to figure out what the law is today and how it's going to change tomorrow. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's causing a lot of confusion and chaos.
Again, some sort of decision from the Supreme Court is expected by Wednesday at the latest.